got one lesson.
Which one do you want to do?
Follow Shamar's done. Come on.
Want to do another one?
It took him forever to teach me how to do that.
Did he teach you that one?
Yeah, I taught that one.
You just taught her that one?
Watch me pull.
Wait, but did you just teach her that?
No, I turned off.
She did just as good as I'm going to do on that one. Ready? Go. Good job, Good job.
I've got one lesson. One lesson. I've got one lesson. Like a saloon. Come on to get on with it. I'll text you my address and you come over there. Right, alright, here we go. First of all, I'd like to thank the Hollywood Foreign Press, John Phillips and everybody at the Discovery Channel. And when we set out to make this show, Paul and I, you know, at the shop, we had no idea of how big this was going to become. Oh, what they're talking about here. Oh, that's my acceptance speech at next year's Grammys. I've already made the start of it, Paul, so you'll have to carry on.
Perfect, I'll
and
finish
just
it
add to that for next year.
All right.
Okay, so here we are, back to where we are.
Back to reality.
So we all know why I'm here, and I want to, you know, just to thank you all for coming. And little did I know how sick I was until about 2 weeks ago. But who knew what started off as kidney stones would turn into triple cancer? But it is what it is. And I wanted to have this get together, you know, for everybody, because I wouldn't want to have anybody the responsibility of saying what I have to say now. You know, I'll put that on somebody else's shoulders. Give me a second. Right, to do this after I've gone. So I'm doing it and taking the pain away for all of you. All right.
Take a breath.
So.
Alright, don't rush.
Deep breath.
So I just want to do this to make you something to sort of remember by, and this is a day of celebration of my life, not of
Cheers.
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 Hey, Simon.
Alright. I was born in August of 1965 to my loving parents, Mona and Peter, who were both in their 40s, and I don't think I was planned. I think. I'm just now looking back in retrospect. I think it was conceived during the power company strikes and blackouts in the winter of 1964. But the only thing that parents had to do was to keep warm was to go to bed early. So I in the fucking unions. Yeah, thank you very much. So I burst onto the family scene, closely watched by my three brothers, Steve, 17, Nick, 12, and Robin, 9, all years older than me, to keep watch over me and to teach me all the levels of bad behaviour and things around the house for me to explore as a little boy. For example, why do all these women have no clothes on in these books I was looking at? That's why I was never a big reader. I used to get all my information just visually, looking for porn around the house. And age 4 onwards. Thanks guys for that, I appreciate it. So at that time my mum and dad were doing alright and decided to give me the very best education so they could possibly produce the next Bill Gates or Stephen Hawkins. The only problem with that, the two things that are required when you have that level of success is concentration and attention. The two things that I sadly lack. However, the best thing was to ship me off to boarding school at age 12, then at least they could spend some time with theirs together, travelling and enjoying, without me being a kid dragging us along. And again, I apologise to mum and dad for spending an enormous amount of money on my education, only for me to sit there, staring out the window of the classroom, planning how enormously huge and successful I was, what I was going to be when I left school. So the first great idea of mine was to open a restaurant when I left school. I always loved to cook. And with my sparkling personality, it was going to be easy. So the first thing I did was enroll in the cordon bleu cooking course at the local college. And I get there on my first day to find out that my classmates were all women in their 40s, whose husbands were so fed up with their bad cooking during their marriage, it was time for them to go to school and learn how to cook as well. So,
you were in the right group then.
I was in the right group. They took care and they did all my washing up for me. Yeah, Simon, yeah, pass me this, pass me that. It was great. So anyway, so I came out of the catering school like thinking, oh, let's go open a restaurant. And truly believe the next step was just find the location, make the menus, and open the doors, and here we go. And the only thing wrong with that picture was it required a boatload of money and a business plan. Okay, so that went down the thing. So there I was, unemployed, and without a clue what to do next. My dad had just died the year before, and I really didn't have anyone really to guide me. But Mum said, why don't you go and work on the construction sites, on our family construction sites? You know, and I'm like, what, manual work? I don't think so. But anyway, so a couple of months later, there I was, there with a shovel and pickaxe in hand, cleaning out block sewers, which I have to say, thankfully, rid me of my nail-biting habit overnight. I never working cleaning out sewers for a week. Never bite your nails. So, I'd always looked up to my brother Nick, who was now the CEO of Pentith Construction and taking the company to new heights and new directions. So I went to Nick, I'm presuming it was my goddamn birthright to work in the office with him and live and work with him like the Ewing brothers and I'm doing this. And I'm like, Nick goes like, what skills do you have? And I'm like, what? And I'm like, yeah, what skills have you got? He was right, I didn't have any skills at all. He said, tell me what I can do. I can make a few calls and maybe you could interview with one of the commercial real estate offices, like in the city as a trainee. So 53 letters later, I landed a job with the biggest firm in the city. I'm working in the churches and gas stations department in the crusty part of the old offices. It was way in the back and nobody even knew you existed back there. And my first paycheck was £75 a week. Like my parking bill and the gas bill was £78 a week. So somehow I survived, but I always had to park close to the office. So anyway, so I worked in the church and office, and I was showing property and edging plans read to put into brochures. And it was the same plan and edged the same plan read for like 6 months. That's all I did, like a production line. Anyway, so I managed to weasel my way into the offices department space, which is where it happened with the city. If you weren't in the offices selling office space, there was no action at all. So I became assistant to one of the surveyors in there, and I knew everything that he knew, all the properties. Anyway, one day, he announced he was going to start his own business with his brother, and in England you just leave, put your stuff in a cardboard box, and you're off that night, so Friday night. So Monday morning we had a big meeting, and I the boss is like, well, do you know about this property? I'm like, yeah, I know about that one. So anyway, I'm sitting at his desk, driving his company car, doing all of his deals for him. Now he's gone. And like the boss said, well, yeah, it's just, don't get used to it, it's just temporary until we find another qualified surveyor to come and take over your place. Well, I wasn't having that, no way. I worked my ass off and worked my way up, and then I got headhunted from there to go work for another firm because they wanted me to work on a building for them. Anyway, so while I was there, I met a business partner, Russell, and I decided that we'd open our own real estate office in our local town, which we did, and managed by hook or by crook to acquire some space which was owned by our uncle in the middle of the high street. So here and I, Russell, on 23 years later, we were right in the middle of the town, large and in charge, and all the other realtors were like, who the hell are these guys? Anyway, so we burst onto the scene and rocked the real estate. Didn't know what happened. There were such crazy offers, 0 commission on all listings for the next 30 days, just so we can get some stuff hanging in the windows and some actually property to put in the ads which we were paying for and the customers weren't. I don't even know how that works out, but anyway, so that was that. So that was that. So I was like 23, and here we go. So the only problem was that the day after we opened the doors, the market just went like immediately. Yeah. So things weren't looking good. So 6 months later, we were down to like our last month's rent, payable expenses and stuff like that. And then we got a call from one of the other real estate offices down the road. One of the partners that worked there. All the insurance companies in England and I were buying up all of the small independent real estate offices so they could do the insurance work and they could get the mortgages. Anyway, their company had been bought out by an insurance company a couple of months before. He was fed up with the new regime. He couldn't even order a pack of paper clips, and he was fed up. You know. Anyway, so he came to us and he said, he simply said, listen, I'll buy you out. I want your spot in the high street, and I'll buy you out. So I said, yeah. We said okay. So I was like, anyway, miracle of all miracles. There's somebody that I knew. She was getting divorced. They owned the station master's house, which was right next door to the railway station, built in the mid-1800s, and had an acre of yard. And I go over there to pick up some old doors that she was giving away so I could put them in the cottage. So when I get there and I go, what's going on? I said, well, Pete and I are getting divorced and we're selling the house. And I said, can I have the listing? And she said, no, I've already promised that to somebody else. I said, how much are you asking? She said, well, £500,000 for it. There's a lot of money back there. And anyway, next day we go out for lunch with some developers called McCarthy and Stone, and they specialised in building old retirement, like, you know, driving in Cadillac and you come out and the gear, you know, let's have a thing out here. We're looking for an acre of land, what have you got? And I go, Edo, let's take a trip. So we drove down the road, I walk into the back of Angela's house and I go, what about this? And he's like, cool. He said, how much? And I went, make me an offer. He said, we'll give you $1 million for it. I go back to Angela and I said, tomorrow, we're coming in with a backhoe, we're going to dig some inspection holes and they're going to dig your yard all up tomorrow. She's like, oh my God, really? I go, yeah. I said, how much are you going to, I said, I'm going to get you $1 million for your house. So they were selling for $500,000, so they got divorced, they both walked off with £500,000 each, it's perfect. And I made like $120,000 in a 20-minute lunch. I thought, like, this is ridiculous. So we stopped the practice, but we set up a development company called Westminster Developments. It was just went out, put new suits, new Jaguar XJS, and then Russell and I pumped like 80 grand into an option on a piece of property in the north of London when we were put 2 car dealerships on the front, and in England the car dealerships are tiny. You go in and you look at the brochures and you order your car and it gets delivered, and they have like a couple of used cars in the service department, not like the big places they have here in the US. So we had Ford and we had Volvo, which is on the hook, right? And we had some space at the back, we were going to build some offices back there. Anyway, so we bumped the 80 grand in there, it was non-refundable, we thought, oh, this no problem. Anyway, so it was about 180 miles away. And we had them signed up. Anyway, August the 1st is the new car year in England, and that's when everybody gets a new car on August the 1st. Anyway, so we get a call like 2 days later from Ford with Volvo. Worst new car sales since 1947. So it's like, no, we're staying where we are. So we lost the 80 grand. Lost everything. I was like 3 grand in the bank account. And in the meantime, Nick had come down to Fort Myers and built this office building right across the street here. I'll cross on the Midway Centre on 41. So I'm like, Nick, like, please take me out to Florida. With the glass in, doing the landscaping. I'm driving along going, like, gas station site there, movie theatre there, car wash there. And all that, there's nothing there. The whole town already planned away. It's going to be me and nobody else. Right. So that was in September of 19. That was in September.
Nothing wrong with your ego, son.
So I come here in 1990 and work with the realtor with Nick, and the recession had followed me over to England like a bad penny. Anyway, nothing was going on here, so went out, met some friends, and met Deanna. Right?
That'd be me. Yeah. I bumped into Deanna Chauncey, a feisty ski boat driver from Minnesota, who operated Still feisty.
the ski boat and operated out of the South Seas. A hot and mad, crazy romance ensued, and we fell in love, and I knew that this is where I wanted to come back. So I went back to the UK and I packed up all my stuff and we came back here, dissolved the partnership with Russell and came back with $500 in cash, which is still like the 500 now, really. So Deanna and I were married for 11 years and had 3 beautiful children, Jackson, Zoe and Justin, and our miracle son, Justin, where are you?
He's right there.
Thank you for Dr. What's his face for screwing up that first vasectomy.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Yes. So Deanna and I got divorced, and I married Linda.
Who's right here?
I married Linda right here. And I'll just sort of wrap it up right now. But right, so just going back to these last 2 here. Firstly, Linda.
Yo, what's that? 3 altogether or just 2?
Yeah, Linda and I were married together for 8 years, and although we had our ups and downs, I just remember the great times we had, living up in South Beach, our fantastic cruises, and our incredible trips to Vegas, and our crazy wedding in Vegas, and our vacations, and I'll never forget those. And our vacation destinations were
No rush,
to
Simon.
Vegas.
We love you, son.
Vegas, love you too.
Take it easy.
Vegas, where Ned and I, we never seemed to come back down. We always either get broke even, or we took the house for large amounts of money, and then we lost it and gave it back to them because we were so stupid. Gambling, but we never lost. And then we moved to Georgia to become horse people, which we did, which was our love and our passion for the horses. And it's something that we developed together, and I'll never forget that, baby, okay? Alright. And then even though we're divorced, and we weren't really speaking up until I was sick, Linda's come through for me, and she's taken care of me for the rest of my life. Thank you, baby. Thank you for that.
Love you, baby.
We love you, Simon. We love you, Simon.
And finally, Deanna. Deanna, we started our life together with some great plans, didn't we? Remember our idea, we were going to build a huge bed and breakfast on the cliffside.
Oh, that's right. God is love. The God is love house.
Do that. We're going to have cactus everywhere on the property. Anybody could come, when it comes to stay, they could take a cat to bed.
I forgot.
We're going to have cats, and we're going to have a little cat, they could look through the book and decide which cat they were going to take to bed. Stupid.
You're going to do the cooking way, Simon.
Yeah, I'm going to do the breakfast and everything, do all the dinners and all the hospitality. And then our crazy idea, where like before Jack, we were going to buy a 5th wheeler, travel the country, and have babies in the back of the 5th wheeler, won't we? Show them to the world. My child, Simba on Lion King. Like this. We're gonna do that anyway. What we ended up doing is I started a little company called Union Jack back in 1992, just running around in the van washing cars for people.
And then for some crazy reason, we ended up washing 5,000 cars a week for the dealers.
7,500.
7,500 on days like this. Oh shit, I could have murder, gone to Siberia to a slave camp and be out by now. So we ended up washing cars with the dealers in Fort Myers. And we also spent some great time together, and our gift to each other is our 3 beautiful children, of course. And you're doing an outstanding job of raising them. Can't ever thank you for what you've done over the last years. And although the years we were divorced and we weren't talking to each other, it's so great that we're friends again. Over the last 2 years, it's been beautiful, it really has.
Yep.
And seriously, finally, to all those friends and customers here, I consider as friends, some of you, when I met you, I was cleaning your cars and I was cleaning out your baby seats, and now I'm cleaning your daughter's car now when she comes back from college. How the years just absolutely fly by. And to Paul and to Nick Carrison, and most of you know that we've been trying to put this TV show together for the last year or so called Nothing Bollocks, and it'd been my dream job to work at the shop with Paul and everybody. Like a brother to me, and I've been the best free labour you've ever had. Best free labour you've ever had, don't ever forget.
Hey, I've got some more weeks out of me in twat.
Maybe you fucking twat.
So as my life comes to an end and I pass on, I feel sad for you, all that I leave behind, because unlike you, I will never have to live with the pain and suffering of listening to another Morgan and Morgan commercial. That's it. Thanks very much.